Good evening, everyone, and the platform party can take their seats. We'll start tonight by asking Elder Anne Labilois to come forward and welcome us to the territory.
Nindalawisi, Anne Labilois. Hello, my name is Anne Labilois, and I'm a Mi'kmaq from northern New Brunswick. And it's such an honor to have you here in Mi'kmaq, which is, we call Turtle Island also. And how it takes courage and strength for you to get where you are and to keep on going. It's a wonderful thing to be able to learn and to be able to see new things and hear new things and go new places also and help others. But most of all, help yourself, take care of yourself, honor yourself. Because only then, if you know how to honor yourself, you can honor others and the land also. Like my people, they live not only on the land, but they live with the land. And they learn how to listen, which is very important. And that is a great thing to be able to learn, is how to listen to others and how to be grateful. Be grateful for the breath that you have, because that's how special you are. That you woke up this morning and you are still here with your breath. That is quite a gift. So we have a lot to be grateful for. So just take a moment, and I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes for a moment, and I'm going to say a prayer. As we connect with our breath, we take that breath in, and we let that sacred breath out. Take that breath in, and let that breath go out. One more time, take that breath in. And when you let it out, let your shoulders just relax and melt where you're sitting. And continue breathing, finding your own rhythm of breathing. Nothing to worry about, nothing to think about, nothing to achieve. Just be the best that you can be in a moment. Something we don't do is learn to listen to ourselves. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, hear me, for I am young, small, and weak. I need your strength, O Great One. Take my hands to respect the beautiful things you have made, including myself. Take my feet and guide me so that I may take the right steps on this narrow path of life. Help me to conquer the greatest enemy, myself, and help me to learn the lessons you have placed in the creation of your leaf and rocks, so that I can learn these lessons, these teachings, and I can carry them back to the people, so that when my eyes fade like the setting sun, my spirit will come to you without shame. Tahoe. Now you can slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back into the moment here. Congratulations, and have a wonderful, wonderful year that's upcoming, because it looks like a very promising future with all of you. Walalian. Walalian.
Well, and to you, Elder Ann, so grateful for your prayer, and you've become such an important member of our community in a very short period of time. Thank you very much for being here with us. I'd now like to call upon my colleague, Vice President Sarah Clift, Professor of Contemporary Studies as well, to come forward and offer a land acknowledgement.
Thank you very much, Walalan Elder Ann, for welcoming us to the Mi'kmaq territory. And in fact, we would like to begin today's matriculation ceremony by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Mi'kmaq, Maliseet, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Maliseet title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Now, as many of you know, Mi'kmaq History Heritage Month will soon be upon us. And many of us will be taking part in the activities and resources to honor and learn about the cultures of the First Peoples of this place we call home. Some of us newly call it home. Now, the day before October 1st, Treaty Day, marks the beginning of Mi'kmaq History Month, is of course September 30th, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. I heartily encourage you to participate in the many activities taking place all over Chibuktuk, Halifax, on this day and throughout the month of October. Now, in a certain sense, all non-Indigenous peoples on this land are, to one extent or another, come from a ways, as Nova Scotians are fond of saying. And I would say an important part of being a come from away, from the point of view of reconciliation at least, is to learn how to become better guests on Mi'kma'ki. Now, preparing for today and this land acknowledgement, I got to wondering what matriculation actually means. It is, I find it quite a beautiful word, so maybe you were wondering as well. So being the nerd that I am, I turned to the Oxford English Dictionary, and it confirms the most relevant meaning for what we're doing today. That is the process of, quote, admitting a student by inserting their name in a register. Kind of obvious enough. But there are figurative senses as well. Matriculation, for example, is the act of enclosing or giving origin to something. Or it's the place or medium where something is developed. I hope you're kind of picking up the resonance. I'm seeing resonance between the land acknowledgement and the very act of matriculation. So matriculation, we might say, is the ground upon which a kind of network of relations can be developed. Reticule, being one of my favorite words, means network. So what this says to me is that as we matriculate today, by adding our names to the current and historical community of kings, and we're matriculating on a particular ground, a land, a territory, and in doing so, we enter into a network of concrete and embodied relations with one another. So in that context, thinking about the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, thinking about recognizing land, perhaps it isn't quite enough to engage with reconciliation in abstract ways, important though those are, at the level of policy decisions, funding allocations, and the like. Perhaps the point is to ground those abstract engagements, those policy decisions, political efforts, in personal relationships. So reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in this country is a political project that will occupy us for generations. But let us also allow or help it happen every day between and among us as peers, mentors, and friends. Walalan.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Um, Welcome everyone to your matriculation ceremony. Thank you for being here to be matriculated uh, with each other. Welcome. I'd like just to take a moment to introduce our platform party. And so I want to start with introducing our chancellor. Maybe, Deborah, could you stand up just so people knows who I'm talking about? So we're very, very blessed at King's. The chancellor is the ceremonial head of the university, which means the chancellor presides at graduation, which in King's we call insignia. So very typically in an undergraduate's life, that's the one moment when you see the chancellor, is when you cross the stage. But we've got a very special chancellor who's very, very engaged with everything that happens here at King's. Deborah and her husband Bob are from Windsor, Ontario. Some of you may know that we have a history rooted in a closer Windsor in Nova Scotia. But Deborah wants to see who she's graduating in 4 or 5 years. So she's come here tonight to be with us for matriculation. Thank you, Deborah, for doing that. You probably already know, and if you didn't, you just met our Vice President, Sarah Cliff. Our public orator, and most of you are FIP students, so I know you've already met Dr. Peter O'Brien, giving you lectures in the foundation year program. Dr. O'Brien, former Vice President, is our public orator, our person of words here at the University of King's College. You've met Elder Ann, and look forward to having Elder Ann at many other events here at King's. I think you probably know our Dean of Students, Katie Merwin, our librarian, one of our librarians, Patricia Chalmers, our interim registrar, Justin O'Hearn, and I think this is very important, representing the alumni, Arthur Shears, because a very important part of this evening is not just admission into your status as a student, it's your admission into a membership in this college community that will last for the rest of your life. So with that, it's time to move to the main event, and I'm going to call upon our public orator, Dr. Peter O'Brien.
Welcome to the ancient and solemn ceremony of matriculation, which marks your formal entry into the college as student members. This ceremony, a form of which has been celebrated for more than 2¼ centuries at King's, and for many centuries longer at the great universities of England and Scotland, is named for the matricula, the large register that will record your names. In a few moments, you're going to be asked to recite an oath in Latin to express your desire to enter the college and your willingness to observe its traditions. We used Latin, the universal language of learning at the time of King's foundation, and for many generations in the West. Those minds and spirits are represented and their echoes are heard almost every single day in or re-embodied reject them, or put them on critical probation. In pronouncing a formula in a language once taken grammatically universal, we might respect voices that out. brought success. By the time we're done, you have said the whole story. You have that in your program in front of you, along with an English translation. So are we ready? Ego. In universitate. Collegii regalis. Discipulus sancte policior me. Legibus pariturum. Traditionesque meliores eius culturum. Ita ut praeceptis eius convivendi eruditionesque oboidiam nec non et ipsius academiae et populorum ubique diversorum dignitatem atque salute quantum in me fuerit per reliquam vitam procuraturam. Amazing. I can't believe it. That was better than ever. You must have been practicing, or else infused with the spirit behind those words. So I now say, cito vos in matriculum collegii hodie relaturos esse et ad observandum omnia statuta hoc libro comprehensa quantum ad vos spectant teneri. Know that today you will have been entered in the register of the college and are bound to observe all the statutes contained in this book as far as they concern you. Congratulations. It's now my duty to pass you on to President Leahy, who will confirm your registration in the book.
Thank you, Dr. O'Brien. Peter's not fooling around. I've been through this now 8 times. You guys sounded amazing. I'm about to say a little Latin over you. It won't be as good as yours. I don't have a prompt on the wall to help me. But it makes it official. You've made some pretty big promises. I doubt if there's any reservations, but if there are any reservations, you better leave the room now, because once I say my bit, it's official. It's all done. Okay? Okay, so ectoro tate mea et mito vos discipulos in universitate nostra collegii regalis. Surete leges praeceptique. Foete traditionis eius praeclaris. And as you know from the program, I've exercised my massive authority to admit you as students in our University of King's College. Keep its rules and precepts, cherish its excellent traditions. So, You are now matriculated. You have been welcomed to Mi'kma'ki, to the territory of the Mi'kmaq that we live upon, and we live out our lives as the University of King's College. And you are now members of the college in Latin as well as in English. So I don't know what else we can do to make it official. Congratulations and welcome to your university. It says on the program, on the back of the program, that matriculation signals the joint commitment of the institution to the education of the enrolling student and of the student to their responsibilities as a member of this community. I just want to take a few moments to reflect upon the reciprocal nature of the commitments we have made to each other. According to the oath you have taken, your responsibilities require your obedience to the regulations and best traditions of the college. That little qualifier, your commitment is to the best traditions of the college, means something. We are a university, a place of learning, questioning, debate, and re-examination, not just about the world outside of King's, but also of King's, about King's, and its history and future. In the grand tradition beautifully invoked by our public orator, a university is a community, a particular kind of community. And from its beginnings, King's has always thought the greatness of a university lies in the greatness of the community that exists between and among those who belong to it. To put it another way, perhaps the greatest of the traditions of King's is the one by which our very identity is defined by our mutual commitment in every generation and across generations to being a community defined by, or that aspires to be defined by, friendship, belonging, and our common mission of learning with and from one another. It is these themes, friendship, belonging, community, and learning together, that alumni of all ages speak to me of when they speak of what they cherish most in their memories of King's. The matriculation oath evokes these themes by calling on us to, quote, serve the precepts of communal life and learning. Remembering our communal life includes not only our relationships with each other, but our relationships with those around us. So you, like every generation, will decide what these precepts mean for you during your time here. Just the same, I urge you, and all of us, to let kindness be your watchword. Extend the hand of friendship to those around you, and take it when it is offered, so that all can enjoy that feeling of belonging that is the very fiber of what is now your university. Let your guiding star be a determination to do your part in ensuring that no one is left out or left behind. In the community you will build with each other and with your upper year colleagues and everyone at King's. Let us together aspire to make this not only a friendly community, but a loving community. All this in your studies and in the whole of your student life, both here and at Dalhousie, is how your time will prepare you for your future. You will have noted that your oath asks you not only to obey our best traditions, but our regulations. That doesn't sound like much fun, does it? We do have rules at King's, but I think of them, and I hope we all can think of them, as the commitments we make to each other through the process processes of self-governance that includes students as well as faculty and staff and alumni at all levels. And I'm referring here particularly to the King's Student Union. These commitments include not only our rules, but the principles, values, and practices we follow to keep each other and our community safe and healthy and inclusive for everyone. In this moment in our history, I want to stress that our commitments to each other include all we are doing as a community to prevent and respond to sexualized violence by creating a pervasive culture of consent and respect, building on all the work of recent years. Each of you has promised, I hope you noticed, to care for the honor and welfare of the college, quote, for the rest of my life. That's quite an extraordinary thing to promise. And if you take it seriously, which I hope you do or that you will come to take it seriously, the response I gave you implies acceptance of your promise and a reciprocal promise. In admitting you as students, so this is after you've given your oath, my language refers to our University of King's College. Language indicating that the college, the university, now belongs to you as much as it does to me, my colleagues, or the students who have been here before you or will come after you. The language signifies that in addition to being students for a time, you are now members of the college for all times. That's kind of the alchemy of matriculation. So in the spirit of that alchemy, the college must now and in the future live up to the commitment you have made to its honor and welfare. On behalf of the college, in less Baroque language, I promise you the college's dedication to this responsibility of being worthy of the commitments you have made to each other and to King's. Caring for the honor and welfare of the college is not the same thing as always praising and celebrating the college, though I hope you do find things to praise and to celebrate. Caring also requires criticism when criticism is due. To paraphrase Sarah Sharp, one of our recent valedictorians, caring for the welfare and honor of the college means the college understanding that criticism is also an act of love. So this means calling on the university to be better when it has failed or disappointed. This is and must be one of our best traditions. This is very important as we prepare to observe the third National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, and as we reflect upon and work to improve our relationships with the Mi'kmaq and all Indigenous communities, with the African Nova Scotia community, and with all who may not have felt fully welcomed here in the past. So we have made our promises to each other. To seal the deal, please do take the time of engraving your signatures in the matricula so that forevermore it will be clear to everyone that you were a student of our university and then continued as a lifetime member of our Collegii Regalis. So this is the original matricula from, I believe, the early 19th century in front of us. The matricula with a place for your name already prepared is in the foyer of the Arts and Administration building. And it will be available for signing immediately after this ceremony. So I hope this evening is fun and a little special for you. It's not the kind of thing that happens at all universities. On your behalf, I want to thank everyone who has been involved in the creation of this evening. And I think anyone who's a piper deserves a round of applause. There's Cameron right up there at the top. So I look forward to seeing you at the reception to be held in your honor in my home. I'm very excited because this is my first opportunity to welcome a large number of first-year students in the President's Lodge. You can come to the reception after you have signed the matricula in the foyer of the ANA, or you can avoid the line for the signing, come to the reception, and then come a little later and you'll find the matricula there. If you don't get to sign the matricula tonight, for whatever reason, you can go to the library where it's always kept in safekeeping, and you can make arrangements to have it signed at a time that's convenient for you. The President's Lodge is down the hallway off the foyer that's heading towards Coburg Road. It's a bit of an adventure to get there. You go through something called the senior common room after you go through a twisting hallway. And then you go through another short hallway after the senior common room. And there's a little door with a sign on it that says President's Lodge. It'll probably be open when you get there. And you can also get there by going out in the quad, walking past Cochrane Bay, up the stairs beside the chapel, along the little landing. You can go through the double doors at the end of that landing, and you'll see the President's Lodge door on your immediate right. If you get lost, don't worry, there will be search parties. Now, we're going to process out, and earlier I mentioned matriculation looks forward to your insignia in a few years. So we're going to practice for that. And the way we're going to practice is that at the beginning and at the end of any formal academic ceremony, when the platform party leaves or enters, but in this case leaves, you all stand up, okay? And Cameron's going to pipe us out. See you in just a few minutes at your reception. Please join us. And thank